JavaScript is an old language, dating way back to the 1990s, 1995 to be specific. And for much of the time since then, JavaScript has been picked on, largely because it hasn't changed much. Though thankfully, recently, in the 6th edition, commonly referred to as ES6 or ES 2015, that's not the case anymore. JavaScript has undergone a series of major improvements I'm really excited about, improvements that pick up on many of the benefits we've seen in other programming languages, and improvements that I think that will make you once again excited about JavaScript and perhaps not pick on it so much anymore. In this course, we're going to take a look at what it's like to program with JavaScript after the 6th edition. Now, most of these changes came from the 6th edition, but we'll also be looking at changes that have happened since then and some changes that are coming down the pipe. As you'll see, there are a lot of changes to go through. I've picked out just the ones that I think are the most important, the things that you'll get the most benefit from. I'm not going to teach you everything there is to possibly teach you because we would be here literally forever. Instead, I've picked out the things that will provide the biggest bang for your buck. And so I'd encourage you to work through this course, and I've designed this course to be something you can follow along with. In fact, I have challenges all along the way. This course is just packed full of exercises. So I want you to work on these, and then as you find things that you think will be really valuable in the work you're doing, try to take some of these things over to your daily work. So try and pick out things that you can actually put to work. And that might entail looking for an opportunity to refactor some existing code. It might also just entail looking for a future opportunity in some new software that you're creating. The best way to get value out of this course is to put these things into practice. That's really the only way you're going to learn this stuff anyways, because there's a lot to learn here. For example, we're going to take a look at arrow functions. Arrow functions allow us to cut down on the verbosity of declaring functions to something that's very succinct and to the point, and takes out a lot of the ceremony when we're working with functions, which is especially valuable in functional programming techniques. We'll also see how arrow functions help us out with the this keyword. Yes, that tricky keyword that throws us all off. We'll see how we can move from dynamic bindings to lexical bindings, which more or less means inside of an arrow function, this is going to do what you think it should do and not catch you off guard. We'll see a new type of literal called a template literal that allows us to write out multi-line strings and easily inject data into these strings. Have you ever tried to build up a complex string in JavaScript and been faced with something like this button HTML? With all the quotes and double quotes and plus signs, it's really hard to understand. We'll see how the new template literals allow us to take out a lot of the verbosity and really easily inject data into a complex string. Array literals make it easy for us to construct arrays, and we've had that for a long time now. We're going to see in ES6 how array patterns allow us to easily take arrays apart. This can significantly help us reduce the complexity in destructuring arrays. And we'll also see how this works with object patterns, which are much like object literals, to simplify the process of pulling elements out of an object into local variables. Have you ever wished that JavaScript had some sort of defaults for function parameters? Well, guess what it does? And this can seriously help us reduce the amount of verbosity involved in making sure that we're working with safe values inside of our functions. We'll also see how these defaults, or similar logic to it, can work with other language constructs, specifically destructuring, which is that new concept I just mentioned that helps us take arrays and objects apart. We'll see how the new iteration protocols allow us to iterate through, or basically treat many different types as if they're arrays, without needing to somehow hack into and use array methods on types that aren't arrays. And we can do things with this, for example, to produce a function that can generate a range of numbers. All we have to do is provide some stopping point, and we can easily generate an array of numbers to work with. After we learn about iterators, we'll see how we can simplify them with generators, a brand new language construct. They really cut a lot of the verbosity out of working with this new iteration protocol. They implicitly implement this protocol for us so that we can focus on what it is we want to get done at the end of the day, producing a range of numbers, and not on the boilerplate necessary to do so. We'll see how promises can substantially simplify our asynchronous code so that we can focus on the logic we're writing and not on the plumbing to make a web request or perform any other asynchronous operation. After you learn about promises, I'll show you how promises in concert with generators allow you to write asynchronous code as if it were synchronous, while still preserving the non-blocking nature of your asynchronous code. We'll see how classes in ES6 give us a new syntactic sugar that cuts out a lot of the verbosity in creating constructor functions and really helps when it comes time to implement inheritance. And then we're going to wrap up with a look at the new module syntax in ES6. These are just a few of the things we're going to get into in this course.